Every one of us carries two versions within, the strong and the weak. The strong version is focused, disciplined, and driven. The weak one makes excuses, gives in to comfort, and fears discomfort. If you want to evolve, grow, and dominate your life, there's only one thing you must do: kill that weak version of yourself. This isn't about violence. It's about letting go of the parts of you that are holding you back, and rising with the mindset of a warrior. There is a voice inside you that whispers in moments of discomfort, "I'll do it tomorrow." It surfaces when your alarm rings early in the morning, when your legs ache from yesterday's grind, when the goal feels too far and the path looks too steep. That voice is your enemy. That voice is the excuse maker, the weak version of you that has mastered the art of deception. The excuse maker doesn't shout, it's subtle. It convinces you with logic that sounds reasonable. It tells you that skipping one workout is okay because you're tired. It says you can delay your goals because you have time. It reminds you that others have advantages you don't, so why bother? And the worst part? You listen, you agree, you surrender. Not once, not twice, but over and over again until those tiny moments of weakness pile up into a wasted year, a wasted body, a wasted life. Let's get something straight. Every excuse is a self-made cage. You're not being held back by your boss, your family, or your past. You're being held back by your own belief that those excuses are valid, that they are justifiable. But here's the truth: they are lies you tell yourself to avoid the war you need to fight. Excuses are seductive because they come wrapped in comfort, but comfort is the silent killer of potential. The more you give in to the excuse maker, the more you train your mind to retreat when it should advance. You teach yourself to negotiate with weakness, and over time it becomes your default operating system. You don't even realize it's happening. You think you're being practical, but in reality, you're sabotaging your own greatness. Look around at the people who dominate in their fields: athletes, creators, visionaries, warriors. Do you think they got there by being comfortable, by letting their excuses win? No. They rose because they chose discomfort over delay, action over explanation. They didn't need motivation. They needed discipline. And that's what separates them from the rest. That's what must separate you from the weak version of yourself. Winners don't entertain excuses. They recognize them, they catch them, and they kill them. The moment an excuse starts forming in their mind, they take the opposite path. They use discomfort as a compass, not a warning sign. They run towards resistance, not away from it. Here's the brutal reality: no one cares about your excuses but you. The world isn't waiting for your perfect timing. Life doesn't pause until you're ready. Opportunity doesn't knock twice just because you overslept. Every excuse you make costs you time, energy, and progress, and the bill always comes due. You don't break out of this pattern by hoping it'll change. You break it by declaring war. You declare war on laziness, on distraction, on fear. You tell yourself, from this moment, I no longer make excuses, I make moves. You stop saying I'll start Monday, and start right now. You stop saying I can't, and start asking how can I. Every time you catch yourself about to speak an excuse, pause, interrupt it, replace it. Instead of I'm tired, say this is where strength is built. Instead of I'm not feeling it, say feelings don't run the show, discipline does. Instead of I'll do it tomorrow, say if not now, when? If not me, who? The excuse maker hates action. It fears momentum, because the moment you begin moving, even with small steps, it begins to die. That's your power. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it, you starve that weak version of you. You shrink it. You make it irrelevant. And this doesn't apply only to fitness or work. It applies to every aspect of your life, your relationships, your finances, your dreams. Excuses leak into all of them, and until you take full ownership, 100% accountability for your choices, you'll keep repeating the same cycles of mediocrity. You want to change your life, then you must kill the excuse maker. And don't wait for a perfect moment to do it. Do it now. Do it when it's raining. Do it when you're broke. Do it when you're hurt, especially then, because the excuse maker is loudest when you're weakest, and that's when the real battle begins. You see, greatness doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who refuse to wait. It comes to those who stop giving power to their excuses and start giving power to their actions. It comes to those who understand that excuses might be easy to make, but results are hard to fake. Either you're doing the work, or you're not. Either you're winning the war inside your head, or you're losing it. This war isn't fought once, it's fought daily. Every morning the weak you tries to rise. You must wake up before it. You must move before it has time to speak. Action is the weapon, discipline is the armor, and belief is the fuel. So next time you hear that voice, just skip today. You've done enough. Start next week. Recognize it. That's the excuse maker trying to reclaim the throne. Don't argue with it. Kill it. With a run, with a cold shower, with a work session, with anything that reinforces your control over your mind and body. because the person you are destined to become is not waiting at the end of your excuses, they are waiting at the end of your effort, your sweat, your struggle, and your unshakable will to rise. So today, right now, choose this. Destroy the excuse maker. Become unstoppable. 2. Kill the comfort craver. Comfort is the most seductive prison ever built. It doesn't come with chains or guards. It comes with blankets, soft pillows, and the illusion of peace. It tells you, you deserve rest, even when you've done nothing worth resting from. It whispers, take it easy, while your goals scream for urgency. It convinces you that you are fine where you are. But here's the truth. Comfort is a slow death, and most people don't even realize they're dying. Your weak self is addicted to comfort. It loves snoozing alarms, avoiding workouts, and staying silent when it's time to speak up. It fears discomfort because discomfort demands growth, and growth demands pain. The weak self doesn't want that pain. It wants safety. But let's be honest, safety doesn't build warriors. Safety doesn't build legends. Comfort creates average. Discomfort builds greatness. Think about every defining moment in your life, the real ones. Were they born out of comfort? Or were they born when you were uncomfortable, uncertain, and afraid, but you still moved forward? Growth never knocks on the door of comfort. It lives in the cold showers, in the early mornings, in the tough conversations, in the heartbreak, in the rejection, in the struggle. That's where you meet the real you. When you constantly choose comfort, you send a signal to your brain, I'm okay being mediocre, and the brain listens. It adapts. It makes the easy choice feel normal. Soon skipping the gym becomes a habit. Scrolling through reels replaces reading. Avoiding the difficult task becomes your routine. And one day you wake up and realize you've been busy being comfortable instead of becoming powerful. You must understand this. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your evolution. You delay your growth, your discipline, your potential. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about training your soul to rise. You train your muscles in the gym. You train your mind in pressure. You train your character in discomfort. But you can't do any of that if you're worshiping ease. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something that made you truly uncomfortable? Not mildly annoyed. I mean something that made your heart race. Something that stretched your limits. If you can't remember, then you're overdue. You've been feeding the comfort craver for too long, and the more you feed it, the weaker you become. The comfort craver is subtle. It convinces you that taking a break is self-care, even when you haven't earned it. It says tomorrow because today is too hard. It hides behind modern language like protect your peace or listen to your body. Yes, rest has its place, but don't mistake laziness for healing. Don't confuse avoiding discomfort with self-love. Real love for yourself is demanding more from yourself, not less. You kill the comfort craver by doing the exact opposite of what it wants. When it says stay in bed, you get up. When it says eat junk, you nourish yourself. When it says don't confront that person, you look them in the eye and speak your truth. Each time you choose discomfort, you chip away at the weak version of you, and over time something incredible happens. Discomfort becomes your default. You start craving the cold shower. You start loving the workout pain. You seek out challenges instead of running from them. Why? Because you've reprogrammed your identity. You're no longer a comfort chaser, you're a discomfort hunter. And that's when you become unstoppable. Let's get deeper. Discomfort isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, spiritual. The hardest discomfort is often facing your own truth, admitting your flaws, acknowledging your patterns, taking responsibility for how far behind you've fallen. But the strongest version of you lives behind that truth, and you can't reach it unless you're willing to sit in the fire. Look at the greats. Not one of them became legendary in a comfortable environment. Kobe trained at 4 a.m. David Goggins runs into pain like it's his fuel. Navy SEALs go through Hell Week, not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand that pain is the price of power. Comfort doesn't give you stories worth telling. It gives you regrets. It gives you a soft body, a foggy mind, and a weak spirit. It promises ease but delivers emptiness, and if you keep choosing it, one day you'll look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back at you. Not because you changed, but because you never grew. Here's the shift. Start seeking out one discomfort every day. Just one. Maybe it's waking up at 5 a.m. Maybe it's taking a freezing cold shower. Maybe it's finally starting that business, calling that person, apologizing, forgiving, creating. Do one thing daily that makes you flinch, that makes your heart beat faster. That's how you kill the comfort craver. By starving it. Remember, comfort is not the enemy if it's earned. But most people are living in unearned comfort. They're enjoying rest without the grind. They're eating like kings with the discipline of peasants. You must be different. You must earn your comfort like a warrior earns his armor through blood, sweat, and fire. And when you do rest, it feels different. It feels righteous. It feels deserved. Because you know you fought for it. And that feeling, that's confidence. That's pride. That's peace. Not the fake peace comfort sells you. But real, earned, deep peace. The kind that only comes after doing what was hard. Your life is a battlefield. And every day, comfort tries to disarm you. It tries to lower your sword. It wants you to sit down, scroll, relax, and fade. But you were not born to fade. You were born to fight. So get up, pick up your discipline, slay the comfort craver,
and walk straight into the fire, because fire forges legends.
3. End the victim mindset. There's a story playing on repeat in the minds of the weak. A story where they're not the hero but the victim. A story where everything bad in their life is someone else's fault. I didn't have good parents. I wasn't born rich. My teacher didn't guide me. The world is unfair. The excuses may change form, but the root is the same: blame. It's easier to point fingers than to look in the mirror, but until you destroy that narrative, you will never rise. Let's be brutally honest. Blaming others is emotional laziness. It gives you something worse than pain. It gives you a false sense of innocence. It lets you stay stuck without feeling guilty. But here's the truth. You cannot change what you do not claim. You can scream about your problems to the world, but unless you take ownership, your life will stay exactly where it is, stuck, stagnant, and forgotten. The victim mindset is addictive. It gives you a twisted sense of comfort. You feel seen, pitied, understood. But guess what? Pity doesn't build empires. Victories aren't handed out at the complaint counter. Every second you spend blaming is a second stolen from the time you could be building. Every complaint is an investment in weakness. And the more you invest in that mindset, the more powerless you become. Understand this. Your past may not be your fault, but your future is your responsibility. The circumstances you were born into may have been unfair, but they are not life sentences. Your environment may have been toxic, but you are not a prisoner. You may have been hurt, abandoned, overlooked, but those wounds do not define your destiny. What defines your destiny is what you choose to do with the pain. The strongest people in this world have been through hell, but they didn't stay there. They bled, they cried, they suffered, but then they got up, and more importantly, they stopped blaming. They stopped waiting for the world to fix itself, and started fixing themselves. They stopped looking for apologies, and started creating new outcomes. That's the moment they became dangerous. That's the moment they became free. When you carry the victim mindset, you are always at the mercy of someone else. You're waiting for the right leader, the right time, the right apology. But here's the truth. No one is coming. No one is coming to rescue you, to save you, to lift you up. The only one who can do that is the strong version of you that's buried under years of blaming, waiting, and playing small. You want to evolve? Then you must end the story that you're helpless. You must burn that script, rip that page out of your soul and write a new one. You are not helpless. You are powerful beyond measure. You just haven't activated that power because you've been too busy narrating your pain instead of transforming it. There is a line you must cross, the line between reaction and responsibility. The weak version reacts to triggers, to failures, to people. It breaks down and expects others to change. But the strong version, it takes responsibility. It says, this is on me, even when it's not fair, even when others truly did wrong. Why? Because taking responsibility gives you leverage. It gives you control. And control is freedom. The shift is simple, but not easy. It means no longer saying I can't, and instead asking what can I do right now. It means no longer waiting for ideal conditions, and instead creating results from chaos. It means trading your victim badge for a warrior's armor. Do you want to know why some people never rise, no matter how many books they read or motivational videos they watch? It's because they refuse to let go of their story. They're more attached to being the underdog than they are to becoming the legend. They fear power because it comes with responsibility, and responsibility means there's no one left to blame. That terrifies the weak. But not you. Not anymore. You are the author now. You hold the pen. And what happened yesterday? That was the preface, not the ending. Your past might have shaped you, but it does not own you. You can rewrite the rules. You can flip the script. You can become the kind of person your past self needed, but only if you drop the chains of victimhood and pick up the sword of accountability. No more whining. No more why me. No more emotional dependency. This is your life, and it's waiting for you to take command. Next time you catch yourself blaming someone, pause. Don't justify. Don't explain. Interrupt that pattern. Ask yourself, how am I allowing this? What can I do differently? What's within my control right now? That's how you build inner power, by reclaiming the driver's seat of your life. The victim mindset wants you quiet. It wants you weak. It wants you invisible. Because the moment you say, I own this, is the moment it loses its power. And when the victim dies, the legend is born. And remember, ownership doesn't mean shame. It means power. You're not broken. You're responsible. You're not damaged. You're in training. You're not behind. You're just beginning. So begin. Right here. Right now. Rewrite your story. Not with excuses, but with execution. The world doesn't need another victim. It needs another victor. Kill the victim. Crown the warrior. That's how legends are made. Tranabation. Kill the indisciplined you. There is a version of you that knows exactly what to do, but never does it. That version hits snooze instead of rising with the sun. It scrolls instead of studying. It procrastinates, delays, avoids, and escapes. It says, I'll do it later, but later never comes. That version is undisciplined. That version is weak, and if you don't kill it, it will kill your dreams. Let's face the truth. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not talent, it's discipline. The undisciplined version of you is full of potential, but has no results. It talks about goals but doesn't chase them. It makes plans but doesn't follow through. It sets alarms but never wakes up. It waits for motivation, but motivation rarely arrives. Discipline is not about feeling like it, it's about doing it anyway. That's where the weak version fails. It is addicted to emotion. It wants to feel ready, feel good, feel inspired, but feelings are unreliable. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up when you don't want to. It gets to work when your body is tired. It pushes forward when your mind wants comfort. That's why the strong version of you lives on the other side of indiscipline, because it chooses consistency over comfort. The undisciplined you thrives in chaos. It doesn't respect time. It treats every day like a throwaway day. It says just 5 more minutes until hours disappear. It wastes time in low-value tasks, fake productivity, endless entertainment. But time is not just a number, it's life, and indiscipline is the art of wasting your life minute by minute, silently and slowly, until one day you wake up and regret who you've become. You must understand this. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. When you're disciplined, you don't live life reacting to everything. You respond with clarity. You don't drift, you direct. Discipline gives you structure, and structure gives you control, and control gives you freedom, real freedom, the kind where you are not ruled by mood swings or random desires. If you want power in your life, stop trying to find balance, and start mastering routine, because discipline is not a one-time act, it is a lifestyle. It's in your mornings, in your meals, in your focus, in your choices. Every single choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. And indiscipline, it's a thief. It steals your votes. It steals your days. It steals your future. Ask yourself, how many times have you broken promises to yourself? How many times have you said tomorrow I'll start, only to repeat the same laziness again? That's the undisciplined version winning. That's the old you dragging you back into the mud. And every time you allow it, you reinforce that identity. You tell yourself, this is who I am. But that's a lie. It's who you were, not who you have to be. Killing the undisciplined you requires brutal honesty and daily action. No magic, no secrets, just clear routines, non-negotiable habits, and a mindset that doesn't allow weakness to speak louder than willpower. Wake up when you say you will. Finish what you start. Do the uncomfortable thing first. Track your time. Protect your focus like your life depends on it. Because it does. And let's be clear. You will fail. You will miss a workout. You will eat wrong. You will procrastinate again. But the difference between the weak and the strong is not perfection. It's recovery. The undisciplined version uses one failure as an excuse to quit. The disciplined version uses it as a reminder to get better. One stumble is not the end. Quitting is. So don't quit. Don't negotiate. Just return to the path. The real battle is fought in small moments. The 5 seconds between hitting snooze or rising, between opening a book or opening Instagram, between acting and avoiding. If you can win those small wars, the larger war is already yours. Because discipline compounds. One clean day leads to a clean week. One disciplined week leads to momentum. And once momentum kicks in, transformation becomes inevitable. Let's go deeper. Indiscipline is rooted in disrespect. Disrespect for your time, your talent, your body, your mind, your purpose. When you live chaotically, you're telling life, I'm not serious. And life responds. It ignores you. It withholds its rewards. Because life does not bless the distracted, it blesses the focused. Look around. Every extraordinary person you admire is not extraordinary because of a one-time act. They are extraordinary because of daily discipline. Athletes, creators, monks, CEOs, different paths, same rule. They do what needs to be done whether they feel like it or not. That's the key. That's what makes them rise while others rot in inconsistency. You have that power too. But you must become ruthless with your laziness. You must look the undisciplined version in the eye and say, your time is up. No more delay. No more half-done days. No more drifting. It's time to execute. Time to build a system that supports your purpose, not sabotages it. And understand this. Discipline is not about becoming a machine. It's about becoming a master of yourself, a master of your time, your mind, your energy. Because once you control those 3 things, you become unstoppable. From today, live by this code. Wake up before the world. Own your first hour. Eat for energy, not emotion. Move your body daily. Schedule your time and respect it. Cut off distractions like your life depends on it. Because it does. Execute on what you said you'd do, even if no one is watching, especially then. This is how you build the strong version of yourself. This is how you bury the undisciplined version, and rise as someone the world cannot ignore. So now you choose. Let the lazy, chaotic, excuse-making version win, or rise with discipline and build the legacy you were born for. Discipline is not restriction, it's resurrection. Kill the undisciplined you. Rebuild the warrior. 5. Leave the approval seeker behind. There is a version of you desperate, distracted, and always waiting for someone to clap. That version lives and dies by validation. It posts not to express but to impress. It speaks only to be liked, never to be heard. It's scared to move unless someone says you're doing great. This is the approval seeker, and it is your silent killer. The approval seeker doesn't want growth, it wants attention. It's not chasing mastery, it's chasing applause. It shows up only when others are watching. It creates only for likes, it works only for recognition. And when no one is cheering, it quits, it fades. It crawls back into the shadows and waits for the next thumbs up to feel worthy again. But here's the brutal truth. The more you need approval, the less power you have. When your identity is based on how others see you, you're not living, you're performing. You're in a cage made of opinions, scrolling through fake perfection, comparing yourself to illusions, wondering why you still feel empty, because no amount of hearts on a screen can fill the void of not approving yourself. Let's be clear. Approval seeking is emotional slavery. You hand over the keys of your peace to the crowd, hoping they'll cheer, but they won't always cheer. Sometimes they'll ignore you, sometimes they'll criticize you, and when that happens, the approval seeker collapses. Why? Because it never built inner strength, it only practiced external dependence. But the strong version of you, it doesn't wait, it doesn't ask, it doesn't beg, it moves in silence, it executes in private, it trains when no one is watching, it builds when no one is clapping, because it knows that real confidence isn't loud, it's rooted in purpose, rooted in self-respect, rooted in knowing who you are when the world stops looking. You have to understand this. Approval is not evil, but dependence on it is. We're human. We like being appreciated. We like being seen. But there's a difference between enjoying appreciation and needing it to feel valid. The former empowers you. The latter enslaves you. So ask yourself, how often do you filter your actions through the lens of others? Do you hesitate to post something because it might not get likes? Do you edit your truth so it's more palatable? Do you hold back your passion because it's not popular yet? That's not freedom. That's fear. And fear is the fuel of the approval seeker. If you want to rise, you must kill this need. You must sit in silence and learn to clap for yourself. You must become your own cheerleader, your own audience, your own validation. Because until you approve of yourself, nothing others say will ever be enough. You'll keep chasing and never arriving. You'll keep performing and never connecting. You'll live in the spotlight but die in the shadows. And here's the real danger. The more you seek approval, the more you edit yourself. You say less. You dream smaller. You dilute your power to fit into the comfort zones of others. You sacrifice your truth for their attention. But you weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand out. Not by screaming louder, but by standing stronger. The strongest people you admire didn't get there by being agreeable. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't ask, "Do you think I should?" They acted. They failed. They kept going. And over time, the same people who doubted them began to admire them. Not because they begged, but because they built. They didn't seek claps. They became undeniable. That's your mission now. Be undeniable. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just so good. So consistent. So deeply rooted in your purpose that no amount of silence from the world can shake you. Be the one who works when others rest. The one who speaks when it matters. The one who stays grounded when the likes disappear. You must understand, chasing approval is like drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. And the longer you chase, the further you drift from your own truth. The only way to escape that trap is to go inward. To build self-respect that isn't tied to metrics. To build self-worth that isn't determined by external noise. And that takes discipline. You must train yourself to detach. Post your work and walk away. Share your truth and let it land where it may. Make your moves and let results speak louder than praise. Stop announcing. Start executing. Because real strength doesn't beg to be seen. It simply cannot be ignored. When you stop seeking approval, you free up energy. Massive energy. The energy that was once wasted in second-guessing, overthinking, refreshing the screen, over-analyzing opinions. Now that energy can be invested in building, in creating, in leveling up. That's how you multiply. That's how you grow. Here's a challenge. Go a week without chasing approval. No explaining yourself. No waiting for claps. No adjusting your moves based on public reaction. Just you, your vision, and your discipline. Watch what happens. At first it'll feel empty, quiet, lonely, but soon you'll discover something incredible. Peace, focus, power, because now you're not waiting, you're leading. And when people do notice, when they finally see your work and your growth, it'll be real. It won't be because you shouted for attention. It'll be because your results screamed louder than any caption could. Remember this, you are not a product. You are a purpose. You don't need likes to be worthy. You don't need followers to be fulfilled. You don't need praise to stay on your path. You need truth. You need courage. You need self-approval. So today, cut the cord. Stop waiting for the world to say yes. Say yes to yourself. Back your vision. Bet on your name, become your own audience, because when you no longer need permission to shine, you become unstoppable. Leave the applause behind, kill the approval seeker, and rise as the one who doesn't chase attention, but commands respect through action. There will always be two versions inside you, but only one can lead. The one you feed is the one that grows. So starve the weak version, kill it with every disciplined action, every early morning, every honest choice. Rise as the warrior you were meant to be. Subscribe to Echo of Legends for more power-fueled truths.